guys, we are back. We're going to check out these KT bars today from CRUMBWORKS. And yeah, I'm going to chuck on this bike. I want to give this bike a little bit of a diet, thin it down a bit, because I've already got other cargo bikes which are fully geared. So this one can be a little bit more of a quick whip. And yeah, let's see how these bars go. These look super sweet. I think it's just a polished aluminum or aluminum with a heavy clear coat, but it's kind of like a super light silver. Yeah, it looks amazing. And heat treated, so a little bit stronger, allows for that lightness as well. Here's the measurements. So for the handle, you got about 20 centimeters on this side, or 8 inches. And then in the center, I think you probably got about the same, about 20 centimeters or 8 inches. A little bar clamp, you got about 50, I think, before it starts to taper. The rise here, we got about I measured it, it's about 45 center to center, 45 millimeters. But yeah, it's super good looking bar in my opinion. I think it looks like, kind of reminds me of those old motorcycle bars a little bit, which is pretty cool if you're into that. All right, just giving them away. So yeah, it's about 390 grams, which is super light. So here I've just put the bars on top of the other bars. I'm gonna try to keep the same stem, but I think the reach is gonna go back a little bit. If I need to, I'll switch the stem to make it a bit longer. But you can see they're almost exactly the same sweep, which is pretty good, pretty comfy. These are a little bit wider. What I like about these as well, they have like a longer flat area, so you can put more stuff on there, have a wider, longer grip. Yeah, I wanted to thin this bike out for a while just because it was getting a little bit clunky with everything on there. Sometimes I just want a bike which is stripped down, just the basics, and I think a single speed cargo would be pretty fun to try. And then I can show you guys how it's going to be if you guys are thinking about it. And yeah, I can be the crash test dummy. If I had one bike, I'd probably keep it the same with gears and a kickstand and everything, but you know me, I got bikes coming out the wazoo. You can see this shifter is a little bit of a pain. I got to take out that little bracket right there to get rid of the gear cable. And yeah, before you do that, make sure you release all the tension. Yeah, you basically just unscrew it and then you pop this little plastic thing off. I'm not sure why they designed it like that. Most of the other shifters are not closed up, but yeah, you can just line up the barrel adjuster and pull it out just like that. And then yeah, put the cap back on and screw it on so you don't lose it. Those screws are tiny. And then here, just undoing the brakes. I probably didn't have to undo the brakes, I could have just unhooked them, but I just wanted a little bit more room in case I'm changing the brake levers. And then here, same with the front lever, just unhook it and then unhook the other one, and then now I can take the bar off. This is an old school Bigfoot stem that I flipped upside down, an old mountain bike stem. A lot of people ask me what it is. I think Cat Bike said it was a tissue box of a stem. But yeah, it's pretty cool looking, I think. I like the boxy stems. And these bars are off just like that. So yeah, I don't know if this stem is going to be long enough. This stem is, I think, like 75 or 80 mil, something like that. But I figure I just chuck it on and then see how it goes. Just stand over the bike and see what it feels like. It feels pretty good. But yeah, usually you don't know until you have a little bit of a ride. Alright, just chucked them on. I think they look sick. And they feel like super comfy. Yeah, I think this is going to turn out pretty well. But yeah, time to put on the brakes and change that to single speed. And I think that's basically it. I don't know if I'll keep the basket on there or that on there, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Maybe take that off too. This is the overhead type of shot. I think pretty cool. I think one issue people might have is if they're lining up the bars to be in the center. But you can see the kerning there, it's right in the middle, the knurling. I just eyed it between the two bolts. Seems pretty centered. Shout out the person who ordered me these. Appreciate it, still using it. Yeah, just used to use a brake cable and put it through and then tighten it up. This is way easier, save you heaps of time. And then here, just taking off the rear mag, taking off this little spring thing, the stabilizer. I think with the cross cargo fork, having a stabilizer really helps. If anything, just stops your basket from hitting your down tube. But yeah, I think I'm going to take the basket off, so I shouldn't have that issue anymore. Here, just taking off the cassette, making it single speed, just using a single speed conversion kit. Basically, you just run a cog in some spaces. I'm running 16T, about 40 or 41 at the front. So I think this is a pretty decent gearing. Just got to take in the fact that I'm going to be carrying some stuff on the front and single speed as well. And then with taking the bash guard off, I got to run some spaces because my chain bolts are too long. So you can see it doesn't fit on the front, but depending on what cranks you have, you can just run the space on the back just like that. And yeah, should work out. I just use spring spacers just because that's all they had at Bunnings. I'm sure normal spacers would probably work a bit better. But yeah, this BB goes pretty well. Alright, here's the chain line. It's not that bad actually, but I think I'm going to move this one space over. And then here, just sizing up the chain. Basically, just do it the best you can. Make sure you push the wheel a little bit forward to allow room for tension when you pull it back. If it gets real bad, you might have to change the cogs, but mine worked out pretty good with the sizing. And then, yeah, when you tension the chain, make sure it's not too tight so you don't get unnecessary chain wear. And yes, I'm running a quick release for this, just do it up tight. I know bolted probably better, but yeah, this is just what I have at the moment. So if you want, you can roast me in the comments. But yeah, here it is. Sounds pretty good, I think. I think the chain line is still slightly off, but yeah, it'll do for now. Alright, this is going to be the handlebar setup. So got some Avid 2.0s, pretty sick, old school lever. This one doesn't have the graphic on there, but yeah, I think they still look pretty sick. And then here, 15 disc distribution hooked up with Merit and Theory. So we're going to chuck on these Merit Itsy grips. I think the patterns are pretty cool. These are pretty long. These are 175, made for BMX, but I'm going to cut them down and chuck them on. They're pretty soft, so it should be good. And then these Theory pedals, white platform, look pretty cool. I put these, end up putting another set of these on my Kona scab, and I've been liking them, so I'm going to chuck them on this build as well. Alright, so yeah, just taking off the basket so I can do some X-ups. Just kidding. So one of the reasons why I want to take off the basket is when I had stuff in there, I tend to just fill it up and it would kind of lean to one side, which would kind of make the fork kind of flop around. So I was thinking if you have maybe a smaller basket or run a bag, you would have less flop. So that's kind of my idea. I just want to try it out and see how that works. You can see I chucked the levers on, and a good little tip for levers, especially if you get stuff secondhand, is just to make sure you check the inside. I actually sanded the inside of these loops a little bit just to make them a little bit smoother. If you feel any burrs or anything, that's a little good tip so you won't scratch up your bars. And then here, just putting the grips on, you can see I'm just cutting them down, just sizing them up to how much space I have on the bar. And I think it ended up being about 150 millimeters. You can just trim off the edges with kitchen shears. Pretty simple, just line it up and cut it. And I'm putting on the grips, I just put water on. I know a lot of people don't like doing this method, but it's always worked for me. And I think it's because I'm in Australia and my grips maybe dry like super fast. But yeah, I don't know. This works pretty well for me. so I'm going to keep doing it. And then here, just putting on the bar ends. The bar ends ended up being a little bit stiff because I think they're made for BMX, but I just did 2 hacksaw cuts in them, kind of like an X, and then I could just push them in by hand. They were still pretty stiff, so they're not going to fall out. But yeah, here they are, looking pretty sweet, I think. Looks cool. Those bar ends have little metal bits in the end, which is cool. You can see my bike just fits here, not even wide enough, but just make it work. So yeah, I guess you'd call this bike like a cargo bike light, and I don't know, I think it'll be pretty fun to kind of run around, do errands. If I need to pick up bike parts, I can kind of just chuck them on and should be pretty sweet. For the bigger loads, I probably use the monopole bike, but yeah, this should be just like a quick kind of get around bike. And yeah, the good thing about bikes is you can switch them up all the time, so if I don't like it, I can change it again. And then here I'm just getting rid of just all the tape and the protection that I had on the bike. Finally can, yeah, bring it back. But yeah, it feels pretty good to strip the bike back. I had this as a single speed before, and yeah, because of the semi-horizontal dropouts, I can run at single speed again and not have to worry about running a chain tensioner. So it was a good candidate to make this single speed. And then basically just gave it a clean and time to give it a rip. So yeah, first up with the bars. I've seen these bars for a little while, so I had high expectations for them, and yeah, they definitely delivered. They ride super nice, super comfy. I love the little rise on it, a little bit higher than I had before. I know you can change the rise, but a little bit of rise helps. And I like the width and also how much space you have for your hands and controls. I think the number one advantage though of these bars is definitely the weight. They're way lighter than all the other bars out there, I think, that I've tried. And yeah, I think if you're looking for a nice set of bars that are well made and look good, if you like the look, I think you can't go wrong with these KT bars. They're pretty awesome in my book. And then the diet version of the bike, pretty happy with how it turned out. It's just kind of fun just to ride single speed again, just a light bike, and yeah, it was fun to cruise around, not much more to say than that. I will say though, on some hills I need to walk up because my legs were got a little bit shocked by the single speed. But other than that, yeah, I think my body will get used to it. Big thank you to CRUMBWORKS for sending me the bars, and shout out 15 Distribution for the grips and pedals. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.